We break into programming to take you live to the UN to listen to the Qatari Ambassador, Sheikha Alya Thani, speaking to the UN Security Council. Let's listen in.
Has stopped in Gaza. In relation to these developments, Qatar reiterates its calls to all parties to de-escalate and exercise maximum restraints, and calls on the international community to move immediately to diffuse tension and prevent the region from spiraling into violence. The situation in Gaza is an unprecedented humanitarian crisis, and Qatar reiterates its condemnation of all forms of targeting of civilians and civilian objects, and all practices by the Israeli occupying authorities in relation to the collective punishment policies, deprivation of food, medicine, and basic services. Qatar rejects any military operation by the occupation authorities in Rafah. Such a situation requires the full respect of international law, including international humanitarian and human rights law. It requires that all measures should be taken to put an end to the humanitarian crisis and to prevent the famine. This requires the delivery of humanitarian aid at scale immediately and in a safe, unfettered manner. The humanitarian actors proved that the only way to achieve this is an immediate ceasefire. We welcome once again Security Council Resolution 2728 calling for ceasefire in Gaza that leads to sustainable ceasefire. This has been the pursuit of the diplomatic efforts of Qatar. We reiterate that the resolution should remain valid under the Charter. The international community and this council bears the responsibility of implementing international law without double standards. We also stress that the orders of ICJ should be implemented. The orders related to Israel taking effective measures to prevent genocide in Gaza and ensure the delivery of necessary aid. Madam President, Resolution 2728 recognized the diplomatic efforts by Qatar, Egypt, and the US. My country attaches great importance to these efforts, which have achieved tangible results to alleviate the suffering of people in Gaza and the hostages on both sides. Qatar will not shy away from continuing its efforts to ensure all hostages have been released and international sufficient humanitarian aid has been delivered. We call for the need to put an end to the continued escalation in the West Bank, including Eastern Jerusalem. The occupation authorities should stop their crimes and the violations of rights of Palestinian people and the siege of their lands, as well as the expansion in the settlements. Madam President, Qatar condemns the systematic Israeli targeting against UNRWA and reiterates that sufficient funding should be provided to UNRWA. Therefore, Qatar has increased its funding by $25 million in addition to previous contributions. Through the Arish airport, Qatar has continued to provide thousands of tons of urgent needs over 92 planes, in addition to the casevac of 22 injured Palestinian people to receive treatment in Doha. Madam President, the only guarantee to achieve peace is a ceasefire that leads to meaningful political talks that lead to comprehensive settlement of the cause according to international resolutions and the two-state solution that ensures the establishment of an independent state of Palestine on the borders of 1967 with East Jerusalem as its capital, with the Palestinian people enjoying all their inalienable rights and the enjoyment by the state of Palestine of its status as a full member to the UN. In this connection, the state of Qatar supports these draft resolution to be submitted by Algeria, the Arab member to the Council, that recommends the acceptance of the State of Palestine as a full-fledged member to the UN and calls on other members of the Council to support this request, and which is an important step that supports the two-state solution and the settlement of the Palestinian cause. Thank you, Madam President.